Charlemagne, whose name translates to Charles the Great, remains a towering figure in European history. Often hailed as the father of Europe due to his unification of much of the continent under his rule, and the profound cultural and political legacy he left behind. Born around 742 AD, likely in Aix-la-Chapelle, modern-day Aachen, Germany, Charlemagne was the son of Pepin the Short, the mayor of the Frankish kingdom, and Bertrada of Laon, demonstrating a lineage deeply embedded in the power dynamics of the era. His early life was shaped by the ongoing power struggles within the Frankish kingdom and the wider conflicts with neighboring tribes, experiences that instilled in him a strong sense of duty and a ruthless determination to assert his authority. The Merovingian dynasty, once the ruling house of the Franks, had progressively weakened, leaving the kingdom vulnerable to internal divisions and external threats, setting the stage for the Carolingians' rise to power. Pepin the Short, recognizing the declining influence of the Merovingians, allied with Pope Zachary, strategically leveraging the Church's support to depose the last Merovingian king and claim the throne for himself, a pivotal moment marking the beginning of the Carolingian dynasty. Pepin's death in 768 AD, the Frankish kingdom was divided between Charlemagne and his brother Charlemagne, a decision that would ultimately lead to internal conflict and further power struggles. Charlemagne, seeking a life of religious contemplation, retired to a monastery in 771 AD, leaving Charlemagne as the sole ruler of the Frankish kingdom, effectively consolidating power and opening the path for his ambitious expansionist policies. Charlemagne's reign was marked by almost continuous warfare, driven by a desire to expand his kingdom, defend its borders, and convert neighboring peoples to Christianity, a relentless pursuit of territorial and religious dominance. His first major military campaign targeted the Saxons, a pagan people inhabiting the region east of the Rhine, whose resistance to Frankish rule and Christianity prompted decades of brutal conflict. The Saxon Wars, lasting from 772 to 797 AD, were characterized by ruthless Frankish tactics, including massacres, forced conversions, and the destruction of Saxon religious sites, demonstrating the lengths to which Charlemagne was willing to go to achieve his aims. The conversion of the Saxons was not achieved through peaceful persuasion, but through coercion, with many Saxons being baptized against their will, a practice that sparked resentment and further rebellion. Beyond the Saxons, Charlemagne's campaigns extended to Bavaria, where he quelled a rebellion and incorporated the region into his kingdom, further expanding his territorial control. He also launched expeditions against the Lombards in Italy, ultimately conquering the Lombard kingdom and placing the region under Frankish rule, a significant step in asserting his authority in the Italian peninsula. Charlemagne intervened in the Byzantine Empire, supporting Byzantine Emperor Leo IV against a rebellious faction, demonstrating his ability to project power far beyond the borders of his kingdom. His campaigns against the Avars, a nomadic people inhabiting the region east of the Danube, resulted in the destruction of their settlements and the integration of their territories into the Frankish kingdom, expanding his influence further east. The scale and ambition of Charlemagne's conquests were unprecedented in Europe, creating an empire that stretched from the Pyrenees Mountains to the Elbe River and encompassed much of modern-day Germany, France, Italy, and surrounding territories. Beyond military conquests, Charlemagne fostered a cultural revival known as the Carolingian Renaissance, aimed at revitalizing learning and the arts within his empire, a period marked by significant advancements in education and scholarship. He appointed scholars from across Europe to his court, most notably Alcuin of York, a renowned English scholar who served as his chief advisor on education and cultural matters, bringing with him a wealth of knowledge and expertise. Charlemagne standardized the Latin script, known as Carolingian minuscule, which greatly improved legibility and facilitated the spread of knowledge throughout his empire, a significant contribution to the preservation and dissemination of knowledge. He promoted the establishment of schools and monasteries, which became centers of learning, producing manuscripts, educating clergy, and preserving classical texts, ensuring the continuity of knowledge and culture. Charlemagne's relationship with the Church was crucial to his power, and he actively supported the Church's efforts to spread Christianity and combat heresy, reinforcing his own legitimacy and authority. He appointed bishops and abbots, ensuring that the Church remained loyal to his rule, demonstrating his control over the religious landscape of his empire, a key element of his political strategy. The most significant event of Charlemagne's reign was his coronation as Holy Roman Emperor by Pope Leo III on Christmas Day, 800 AD, a watershed moment that fundamentally altered the political and religious landscape of Europe. The coronation was a deliberate attempt to revive the idea of the Roman Empire and to assert Charlemagne's authority over the Byzantine Empire, which still claimed to be the legitimate successor to Rome. A bold and controversial act. The Byzantine emperors, based in Constantinople, vehemently protested the coronation, viewing it as a usurpation of their authority, leading to a prolonged period of tension and rivalry between the two empires. Despite the protests, the coronation solidified Charlemagne's position as the dominant power in Western Europe, establishing a new imperial concept that would influence European politics for centuries to come. Charlemagne's empire was not a centralized state in the modern sense, but rather a collection of territories ruled by counts and other local officials, who owed allegiance to the emperor but enjoyed considerable autonomy. He implemented a system of missi dominici, royal messengers who traveled throughout the empire to ensure that the counts and other officials were enforcing his laws and administering justice fairly, a form of imperial oversight. Charlemagne established a new legal code, the Capitularies, which addressed a wide range of issues, including military service, land ownership, and religious practice, providing a framework for governance throughout the empire. His empire faced internal challenges, including rebellions from disgruntled counts and regional leaders who sought to assert their independence, demonstrating the fragility of his rule despite his military successes. He died on January 28, 814 AD, at Aix-la-Chapelle, his beloved capital, after a reign of nearly 46 years, leaving behind a legacy that would shape the course of European history. His son, Louis the Pious, succeeded him, but the empire soon began to fragment under the weight of internal divisions and the ambitions of Louis's sons, ultimately leading to its disintegration. Despite its eventual dissolution, Charlemagne's empire laid the foundation for the modern states of Europe, establishing boundaries, promoting cultural exchange, and fostering a sense of shared identity. His efforts to revive learning and promote Christianity had a profound impact on the intellectual and spiritual landscape of Europe, shaping the development of Western civilization. The concept of a Holy Roman Empire, revived by Charlemagne, would persist for centuries, influencing European politics and shaping the relationship between secular and religious authority. Charlemagne remains a controversial figure, admired for his military achievements and cultural contributions, but also criticized for his ruthless tactics and the suppression of pagan beliefs, a complex and multifaceted legacy. His image has been invoked by numerous rulers and movements throughout history, demonstrating the enduring power of his legacy as a symbol of European unity and imperial authority. The term Carolingian, derived from his name, is still used to describe the artistic, literary, and intellectual achievements of his era, a testament to the enduring impact of his cultural revival. Charlemagne's legacy extends beyond political and cultural achievements. He is considered a founding figure of Europe, and the unification of much of the continent under his rule helped shape the continent's future, cementing his place as the father of Europe.